Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Well, thought we'd get started on this generator project for the Waterwheel. Finally got the thing out of the framework, the washer, and decided that this center bearing piece was what I was going to use to start me out with anyways. I used a Sawzall and just kept cutting around the plastic, and it was all nasty and rough looking, so I real quick threw it in the lathe and just turned it down. So it's cleaned up. There's a bunch of goodies in these washers. This is what I'm going to save. What do we got? We got some springs and some washers and screws and clamps and a couple of pumps and a water valve with a bunch of solenoids and some wire. And let's see, I saved the front piece sheet metal because that was flat. The rest of the stuff's going in the scrap. So I think I went up in the scrap pile and I found a piece of 3-inch pipe, which this is about 3 inches. So I'm gonna cut a piece off the width of this, and I'm gonna cut a slit in it, in the pipe that is, and I'll actually cut a little strip out of there and then weld a couple of pieces on to pinch it together. And then onto that piece of pipe I will put a base of some sort. That should give me a pretty good amount to work with to experiment with it. So gonna get started on that. Now I got a piece whacked off of that longer piece and cut a piece out of it. So what's going to happen is that's going to slip right on there, and then I'll weld 2 pieces of band iron, one on each side of that groove, and we'll have a couple of pinch bolts. So I'm going to scrounge up something to do that with. Got my clamp parts made. Had a piece of 1.5 by 1/4 band iron. I sliced it this way, and I don't know, it's about 3 inches. Drilled 2 5/16 holes in it, and I got a couple of square nuts to space it. Just got them snug down a little bit, just enough to hold the nuts in place. And I'm going to lay that right on there, like so. And I'm going to run a bead down here and a bead down here and pull this stuff apart, and hopefully I'm going to be able to run a bead along the inside, because this stuff's pretty heavy, so there's going to be quite a bit of force on that in order to clamp it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that welded up. Okay, see if I can run a bead down here. I've got 1/8 inch rod, a little over 100 amps. Using a little Yes welder. Well, I think it'll hold, but right there where I had a tack that kind of pick up a little bit, but I think I'll be alright. I'm going to see if I can get a bait on the inside. See how I make out with this. I got 3/30 seconds and about 75 amps. Gotta give that a shot. When it does that, it's shaky. I need a little more amps here. Give her another 5. I think nobody's going to see this. I guess 5 amps makes a difference. I'll get the other side. Yeah, I took the grinder and cleaned up some of the splatter and took that hump off there where I had it tacked and made a hump. Not proud of it, but I guess it'll work. I think it's plenty strong, so I'll probably give it a try. I mean, there's no doubt that it'll clamp. So now I got to figure out the legs that I want to put on here to mount it with. So now let's see if she'll clamp on there. I was debating on whether to tap one side of it so I didn't have to have a nut, but I thought maybe this might run into a problem being that it's changing diameter and might bind, so I just thought I'd go with that. Oh yeah, she's on there good. Okay, that part's done. Get onto the legs. I'm going to cut some plate out for the rest of that base. Haven't used the old plasma cutter in a long time, so I thought I'd give her a whirl again. Let's see. Torch on. What did I do wrong? Didn't hook the ground up. There's this one again. Alright. That's not very long. There it is. Should be able to just throw it on the table here, I think. Alright, now with the ground on it, let's try it. Never a dull moment. Very nice cut. I got to cut this piece off. This will be part of the side, and this will wind up being the base. And I got another side piece to cut out. It's going to be more of the same. Okay, this is going to be the base. These will be the two sides. Just got to get the slag knocked off. And I'll take them over on the belt sander and touch them up a little bit. If any of you guys like my plasma cutter tractors, a video, I don't know, probably a year or so ago I made it, so if it's of interest to you, take a look at some of my other videos. You can make one. Figured it'd be a lot easier to put the mounting holes, slots, in the base before I welded it all together. So got 3 of them done. I'll show you the last one. Take it easy because it's only 1/8 inch plate and it's hanging over, and you just got to be gentle. Okay, we broke through. That'll give us a little leeway. Shouldn't need it where I'm going to use it, but thought I'd make it that way. You never know. So I'll get these deburred and figure out how we're going to weld her together. This is what I come up with for a welding fixture, I guess you'd call it. I measured this way, and I got everything square. Both sides. So I'm going to get it tacked in place on the inside, I think, and then I'll go ahead and weld out here on both sides, and probably weld on the inside too, and then I'll be able to set my round piece on there after I get that in place. Then we go ahead and weld that. Okay, got her welded up. This weld looks a little better than my last one. I switched to 1/8 inch 6013. I don't know, that 6011 rod, maybe it's got some moisture or something in it. Just didn't seem to work like usual. But that worked fine. Same amperage, 105. So I don't know. Get the part and see if it fits in there. Okay, looks like we got clearance. I don't have a shaft in there, it's just stuck on there with a magnet, so I can't turn it. So we got clearance on the bottom, so that's what I was after. So we'll get this welded on there. Next. Now where's the button? Can't find the button there. Wished I would have used that rod on this up here. So performs a lot nicer. Let's look at crash bang. So I better not rock the boat so much, huh? And that's going to be hot. Okay, this side come out. Stuff is tough. Alright, well that baby cools off. Let's see if I can get burnt here. That's not as bad as I thought it was. There. That cools off. We'll try clamping her in there. Back you up a little bit. There. Okay, gonna let her cool. Now let's stick her together and see what she looks like. That. This thing's being a pain. I guess I better tighten it up a little bit so they're not flying out all over. Alright. Well, you can hear that bearing. Especially on this table, it amplifies it. The bearing is not loose, but boy is it rough. Yep. And it's not going to stay in there. This is just while I'm testing it. Alright, so that should mount like that on the bracket down there on the water wheel. Now we got to get the shaft so that we can come up with a pulley that's going to fit on it. So we can do our try. Pretty happy so far, I do believe. I thought maybe this thing might warp and it wouldn't set level, but I guess I got lucky. So, go to work on the pulley situation. Okay, I found a pulley that I'm going to use. It's one of the adjustable ones. It's the only one I could find that would go wide enough for the belt I use. The belt I'm using is a industrial, pretty big, wide, heavy belt. And it's got a 3/4 inch bore. So I got the shaft in the lathe and I'm working on turning it down to 3/4. Power feet on. So we got a few passes to go with this and then we can put a keyway in it. Got it turned down to size. Now I'm gonna just put a little bit of pressure on that cutter and I'm gonna run down the length of it. And that scribed the line. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. It's right there. There, I think you can see it. And that's where I'll center my cutter in the mill, rather than touch off on this side and do the math. I have better luck just eyeballing it right down the middle. Cheating, I guess you'd call it. Now here's my setup for cutting the keyway. A couple of V blocks that were on parallels. Got her clamped in there. Got her centered up on that line. And I made a pass, and it looks nice and even. So I think we're good to go. I'll show you one pass. I'll probably take about 10,000ths a pass, just because these cutters are kind of delicate. And this keyway has to be a little deeper than usual because the pulley, let's see, where did I put it? Let me grab it. The pulley's keyway, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, is not very deep because there isn't much material here. So it's going to be a little deeper than usual keyway. So here we go. Raise the knee, 10,000. Okay, and I'll continue with that until I get to the proper depth. Okay, got the keyway done. But I changed my mind. I decided not to make it extra deep. My original thoughts were I wouldn't have to make a special key because it's kind of a pain to hold something that small and mill it down evenly. But then I thought, well, because if you lose the thing, then you got to take time to special make one. But the reason I changed my mind is because that might not be the pulley that I use forever. And if I make the slot too deep, then it may not be deep enough for the next pulley. So I guess this is what I decided to do. So that's done. Now I got to make a key. Okay, got the keyway thinned down. Fits in there nice. Hopefully you can see it. That thing will focus. Well, let's see. I don't know, not a very good picture, but it's in there. See, I found a 3-phase rectifier. Got a light bulb there. Boy, it takes a lot of pumps to turn that motor. So, what do you say we take her down? A handful of vice grips and take her down to the wheelhouse and see what she does. Well guys, I got her temporary vice gripped in place. Got a couple of springs and chains, putting some tension on the belt. I was going to show you guys me fighting with this thing doing this, but I couldn't fit you all in here. Besides that, we're supposed to be social distancing, so I knew we couldn't do that in here because you can't get 6 feet apart in here. So you guys missed out on that. And I did do a little experimenting with it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty disappointed. I'll turn it on and show you. But I don't get as much out of this as I do this, believe it or not. And well, I think what I'm going to try next is, I think because it's going so slow that it bogs everything down so bad. And I think if I'm going to cut the winding in half and try it that way. And if the RPM goes up enough and we get a little more current out of it, that'll be good. And I'm not sure, depends on how that performs. If that's a lot better, then I might break it into 4 sections. What I don't want to do is get it so that when I don't have much water and the wheel's not going very fast, that it doesn't produce anything. So let me go open the gate up and I'll show you what we got. Well, I messed up some of the videoing again. Apparently when I was in the building, when I set the camera down to go out and open the gate back up again, I accidentally started the camera and it sat there and videoed nothing, the wall. And when I come in to show you guys my results, I pushed the record button again, and of course I didn't look at the screen to see if it said it was recording or not, because the screen was lit, so I just assumed that everything was good. And of course when I got done showing you all the differences, I pushed the button and it was backwards again. So I guess I'll just tell you what I found out. The new one made about half as much as the old one. And if you put them both together at the same time, they didn't gain a thing. If you put them on that 100-watt light bulb, the new one lit the bulb almost full brightness, and my older one didn't. It was dimmer than that one. So I'm thinking that by changing this electrically and get the RPM up, we might get a little more out of this one. So I apologize for screwing up the video again, because that was the point in taking you down there, so I could show you the differences. So I'll try to do better next time. Well, I was a little disappointed in that. Well, I shouldn't have been, because I've tried a lot of things over the years, and the one I got in there seems to be the best. But this project isn't over yet. We're going to work on this some more. We're not giving up this easy. So what I hope to do is I'll break this into 2 sections and parallel them. I think that should make a difference. I think it'll have to spin faster to make as much voltage. So when it does that, hopefully it's going to double the amperage, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. You guys know that. So I'm going to call this one a video, and I'm going to go to work on electrically cutting that in 2 and depending on how the weather is. Got lucky today, it was calm. It's chilly, but there's no snow and stuff, so depends on the weather when we actually take it down and try it again. So we'll see you then. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe. See you next time.